Welcome everyone. This is once again your host Shailesh bringing you live as we always do for last few years. We have been doing our topics called emotional well-being, but also called real connections. And this is once again we introduce a lot of speakers, a lot of real humans, real people, real experiences, and real wisdom that they share with us on this platform. And what a pleasure today I have to invite one of kindest human that I met recently, and what a wonderful person that she is. I don't know how to introduce, but I can tell you one thing, she's one of us, and she is a creative artist. So I would like to welcome Gagan Chahal on this platform. Welcome, Gagan, to this beautiful episode of Life Journey. And today we are going to talk about your life journey because your life journey, my life journey, we can put all these tags and names and identities, but at the moment, it is a human life journey that we discuss. And human life journey is pretty much quite similar to every human when it comes to the journey that we have to live, irrespective of ifs and buts, right or wrong, good or bad. We have to manage this life journey. So, welcome, Gagan, to this episode of Life Journey with you. And I would like to bring to all the listeners that this is a real talk, real experiences that we are going to talk about today, and hope we have make some impact or something that will resonate with you. So, Gagan, let's begin with you. You tell us a little bit about you. That's it, just basic that we can understand who you are as a human. Tell us.
Thank you, Shailesh. Thank you for having me. Um, so my name, everybody, you introduced me, Gagan Chahal, and I am in New Zealand for almost 23 years. I came on student visa and then I settled here. I have a family. I'm married with two kids. I have twin daughters, and I'm working full time in the banking industry. At the moment, I'm on a medical leave due to some health issues. Um, yeah, that's
That's
basically,
cool. Yeah, so it will be very interesting to uncover a life journey because I haven't spoken to a person who has got twins. So it's beautiful to understand a human life journey when she goes through or he goes through when they have twins. So it's a beautiful, beautiful kind of feeling that we are going to uncover today, which is the unknown. So let's go back to the journey that we want to uncover from you, Gagan, that you said you have beautiful twins, but also you came to New Zealand about 2 decades, something like that, and you have been living a journey. Let's go back to not even when you came to New Zealand, but when you go back to when you were quite child as a little girl. What was your upbringing? What was your surroundings? What was the environment? And what was the mindsets that grew up into? And what you are today when you look back? How do you resonate? But let's go back to that moment when you were little, as a child, as normal we all are, but we all grew up into different environments, different surroundings, different upbringing, traditionally, culturally, religion-wise, or whatever you call it. How was it for you? What was it since you remember, or since the day you remember consciously? Let's talk about that.
yeah. So, yeah, I think I remember when I was maybe 7, 8 years old. So I remember
Hmm.
since then. I brought up in a beautiful family. Um, I was a princess and I was loved by everyone, not by only by my uh,
Hmm.
mom, dad, but relatives, siblings, cousins, brothers, everyone. They really loved me. And I was a stubborn child. And at the same time, I was a leader in my group of my cousins. Like I had I have few cousins of my age. So
Hmm.
I was leader in that group.
Hmm.
And yeah, so childhood was very beautiful. I was quite talkative kid. Maybe if
Hmm.
they'll hear this today, they won't believe it. I was very naughty and I was talkative. I hardly used to shut up, to be
So you
honest.
could say you are very extrovert rather than introvert.
Yes, that time. Yes.
And so,
And
what memory do you remember? Were you like other childs? Oh, you had something you want to become when you grow up at that child as a child, or you had different kind of visions and dreams. Some kids they want to become this doctor, engineer, or police or whatever. Did you had something like that as well, or your upbringing in your mind?
it's funny, I had many dreams. I wanted
That's
to
good.
be a pilot, I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a banker like my dad, and I wanted to be a teacher. So yeah, I had many dreams. It was changing almost every day when I was
That's good. And
um
how did you change those, those mindsets that we have as a human? And we are going back to this core value of a human that we have, our thoughts keep coming, it keeps changing, our mindsets keep changing. And when you're a child, when you're a teenage, when you are this, it still does the same thing, but we act and react differently at different phases of our life. How was your reaction? What was your actions on that time, during that time?
when I was a child.
When you're a child.
Um like there was no action. I was just I mean, it was a fun childhood, to be
Mm,
honest. When I was really young, that time I didn't have any worries. And like when it says going to the unknown, when
mhm.
through awakening, when we say going to the unknown. So I think childhood is the best example. You go to the unknown. You learn
Absolutely.
every day. You learn
Absolutely.
every day new thing, and you have your parents. They are
Mm,
like God, because you are not worried about anything. You know that everything will be handled by them if anything goes wrong. So
yes.
tomorrow, all I used to know that I'm going to school. That's all.
Mm,
As I said, I was a stubborn child. I'm still stubborn. If I
mm,
have something to do, no one can stop me. And if
mm,
I have something I don't want to do, no one can make me. So
mm.
this kind of person, I'm still today.
You're
I'm
still like that.
Yeah, I'm still like that.
And do
Since
you think do you think that this attitude, people think that there is an attitude, or people think that, oh, you are difficult and you don't want. What what does you feel about it? When do you feel that you should be worried about the people, what they think, or you should just go with your own? How would you describe that to all the listeners who are listening? Because we all go through this. We all have different mindsets. How would you put it since you were like that? Did you care about others? What would they think?
Of course I did. I mean, you live in a family, you live in,
Right.
obviously you have friends and everyone around you. You make adjustments.
Mm,
But when it comes to your life choices, I'm talking about, I'm very stubborn. I'm not saying that I don't want to cook this today. So if someone says
mm.
cook this, I don't want to do that. So that's really, those are little things. I'm
Yeah,
talking about life
yeah,
decisions.
yeah, yeah.
If I want to do something which I want,
Mm-hmm.
and no one else can make me to do something else.
Sure.
That is my life decisions. And
Mm-hmm.
when I'm making life decisions, yes, I do put
Mm,
others in front as well, that how they are getting impacted. And it depends what are you doing. If you, as long as you're not doing anything wrong in, like, for yourself, and you are true to your God.
mm,
I'm a like firm believer in
mm,
God. So then according to me, everything is fine, and you can't make everyone happy, to be honest.
mm.
If you are right at somewhere, other person won't be happy there.
You said initially that as a child, yeah, it's the best moments when don't know anything, and it's an unknown area.
Mm.
But then now you say that, okay, it's always good to be with as a believer. And I wanted to ask you this particularly, believing is, as they always saying, seeing is believing or doing is believing, and then there is seeking, which is the unknown, and then it is so believing. How does believing, whether it is religion or whether it is believing your own way of doing things, our own way of looking at things. Do you think believing is restricts you, or believing takes you, or believing completes you, or believing you moves you further? What is your view on the beliefs, or the believing and doing things with belief? How would you put this?
Um,
Because yes, tradition is one thing we believe or we subconsciously believe, and then religion is one thing we subconsciously believe. And then I will uncover certain aspects what you are today. But let's go back to that moment where you were believing and you were doing, or you felt that religion is okay to believe, but and do things. How would you describe believing with your view?
yeah. So yes, I was believing in religion. We
Yeah,
are conditioned by the society, by our parents, by our families. I
correct.
was conditioned by all those people for last 40 years.
Mm,
So,
mm,
of course, I was believing on traditions. I was believing in religion.
mm.
Um, w- I've been through awakening 20 years ago. I
Wow.
didn't know
Okay.
that. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that I was going through awakening, and I was going through awakening for last 20 years. It hit
Mm-hmm.
me two, three times, and
Right.
this time it hit me really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So this time I knew what was happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I'm not keeping a third party in.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I'm a firm believer of God. Yes, I'm still believing in the Creator.
Sure.
There is a Creator who's creating, who created me, who created you, who created the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm still believing in the Creator, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no third party anymore. When
Yeah.
I was a child, yes, I was born in a Sikh family, and I'm still Sikh, and I still
Mm-hmm.
believe in Guru Granth Sahib, and I still go to Gurudwara.
Right.
And when I was young child, I was very much religious. I
Absolutely.
do prayers, and like in these days, like I was busy in work. I didn't do much of we call it part uh,
Mm-hmm.
prayers, but I used to do a lot
Mm-hmm.
before when I was young, and even I came to New Zealand. I struggled a lot, and I was going through bad times.
Mm-hmm.
Was only one thing, one belief in when I was doing prayers or either whether it's Guru Granth Sahib, Gurkha Sahib, or believing in my mind, I knew that he is there, he's
Mm-hmm.
protecting me, and
Yeah.
he's going to take me out of this situation.
Right. Mm.
There's always like many times, like not only me, a lot of people they go through a lot of troubles, a lot of challenges.
Absolutely.
Always believe there's something,
Mm.
taking us, it will take us out of this situation. And it did. It did help me many times.
Right.
And
Right.
I even didn't know that I was going through I'm going through, you know,
Mm.
the day is going fine.
Mm.
But I knew sorry, I didn't know that something was going to happen.
Mm. Mm.
But somehow I used to get out of it easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew why it was happening.
Yeah. So on that, I want to take back and pinpoint here that since you were came from India, obviously your background, their traditions and culture and everything is different. And when you come to New Zealand and then you find the difference or the challenges, there also challenges are everywhere. But then you change the scenario of challenges when you come to different scene or different country altogether. So take us back to that moment where you had challenges of moving from country to country, which is moving from every aspect of your life,
Mm.
whether it's cultural, whether it is the way of living, whether it's the belief, whether it is anything that you want to live your moment every single day. And they find it difficult because the way you were living and the way you want to live is all is an adjustment, is a management that as a human power that we got. And you rightly said, there is a power who created, there is a power who, when we pray or when we have this kind of belief that, yes, I will come out of it, but that self belief itself is a great power. So I want to go back to that moment of challenges that you faced when you came to New Zealand. And how did you manage that mindset change? How did you manage it? So that all the listeners who are listening, and to me also, it's quite interesting when you change a scenario, not just country, but any job or anything, you have those changes in your life, and there is a different moments in your life, and you have to manage those moments. And sometimes it's you don't able to manage, but the directions go differently. So how did you manage those moments to make your mindsets also change accordingly, in spite of all the challenges? So take us back to that moment.
As I said, yeah, my life started in New Zealand with it
Mm.
started at a good note. And the moment I entered in New Zealand, I knew that I made a wrong decision.
Okay.
That time I knew that I made a wrong decision. My dad told me that, "Look, you never lived alone, and then you lived like a princess in the family, and
Yeah, so true.
going away.
Mm.
I'm not there. Your mother is not there. Your siblings are not there. No one is in New Zealand, you know. I was the only one who came here first. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have relatives. I didn't have any friends or anyone in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was another one to come to the unknown and
Yes, yes.
know how was it. And then the day, I still remember the day. Instead
Mm-hmm.
of taking us to hostel, they just took us on the college people. They took us on Queen Street, and it was a bunker, bunker bed,
Mm-hmm.
or something. And I still remember I was sitting in a window and I was crying and crying and crying and keep remembering my dad. And so I still remember that day, that how much I cried. So
Mm.
some of the guys, they came with me, they helped me that time.
Mm.
My dad found a family, so they just helped me to me to shift to the family. But even that was not
Mm.
good, because that family actually asked me to leave their house like
Mm-hmm.
8 p.m. at night, and they're saying, "Oh, we have a family coming from India, and then we need
Right, right,
we
right.
have to leave." And I was like, 8 p.m. at night
Yeah, that is really
in a
challenging.
month in that country. And
Mm.
I was just like 19 and a
Mm.
19 years old or something like that time.
Mm.
And I was so scared. And luckily, my dad called me,
Mm.
and, the landline. And I
Mm.
told him that, "Look, I have to leave today.
Mm.
So I don't know where to go. I have no money because my money was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
My passport was stolen. Everything
Wow.
gone. I had, I didn't have single dollar in my pocket
Mm.
that night. So luckily, Dad contacted someone in India, and she was in New Zealand. She was a single mother. She took me from there at 11 p.m.
Mm.
From their house, and she is the one who actually taught me how to be independent. And I'm really thankful and really grateful that um,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
sent her in my life. To be honest, I lived with them like 6 or 7 years.
So
So
what made you come at that time to New Zealand? Was a student to study, or you just had like as a
You
child
know
you had
that you know
dream
that trend in India that time, that everyone was going abroad.
overseas, abroad? Yeah,
Everyone was
that
going
attraction. Yeah,
abroad is something really beautiful, and
green.
like it's, yeah, always green, and it's so
Yeah,
beautiful,
yeah.
blue sky. So yeah, so that thing, I was actually trying. I wanted to be actor at some point as well. So I was
Mhm.
trying
Right.
get a couple of auditions in India, and then I wanted to, and I also filled a form for to
Mhm.
be air hostess,
Mhm.
and I also applied for a New Zealand visa, and then I got New Zealand visa, and then I left everything, and I chose to
Right.
continue, to be honest. And that time I was thinking is the best decision of my life. And then
Mm. Mm. And
after
then this happened.
And this happened. Yeah.
So then how did you change that mindset? Okay, you experienced it, you came on your own independently, you thought because you said that in your life as a child, also you were pretty confident of taking decisions on your own for your own. And that was one thing that led probably to take that decision of bold to move from one country to another country for whatever dreams you had and reasons you had. But then you have these challenges and experiences. And then how did you make those direction into what you are today? Because, at that point, people have, as you rightly said, oh, you made a wrong decision, but then you still want to move and you still want to manage. And then you think that, okay, I can manage, I can do it. But that's can do it attitude is one of the best kind of a version of who you are, rather than, hey, I made a mistake, now I want to go back. Rather than that, I want to still go move forward. And so I want to make a better version of me. That's a positive aspect of it.
Yeah, it was there. Can-do
Mm.
attitude was there.
Mm.
Um, this is why I'm here today and
Yeah,
doing this podcast.
absolutely.
Um, I don't say that I don't get miserable, I don't get sad, and I don't.
Oh, that's you're
I
right.
I do, right? But I'm a strong person. I'm a very strong person. I'm a very bold person,
Yeah.
and I am in my family, to be honest.
Mm.
Boldest, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
And I yes, for a long time, for 7 years, for 7 or 8 years, I struggled. Like every day was a struggle. Even my friends used to say, Gagan, we never seen a person like you who
Mm-hmm.
always in trouble.
Mm.
You having a trouble back to back. It seems like you just inviting the trouble in your
Mm,
life.
mm, mm, mm,
So
mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
for 7 or 8 years, it was back to back, but I never, I never thought that I'm going to give up.
sure.
I
Sure.
don't say that I didn't have those thoughts in my mind. Yes,
Mm.
I had suicidal thoughts. I even tried once, but
Mm.
got
Wow.
sick. But like one day it was like I was like I used to be very low, and then next day get up,
Mm.
do
Mm.
something, you know. So this is how I used to find new, like I met people, and then in the college I came in, they withdrew the
Mm.
course I came in. So, and immigration withdrew the category as well. So it means
Mm.
I wasn't getting residency in that one. So I met people. I had a friend who just helped me to get an admission in one of the colleges, to get visa, to
Mm.
extend visa. And then in that year, I been to some lawyers and I spoke to them like, what should I do? To
Mm. Mm.
residency in this country, because my dad spent so much money. I just don't want to go back.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
yeah, somebody suggested me about doing a course in bakery at that time. So you needed a level 5, but that time level 5 was in Wellington, not even in Auckland. So that
Yes.
was another problem. So
Mm.
I did course in bakery, and then I worked 2 or 3 years to make it level 5 to get
Mm.
residency. So yes, I mean it's not hard to change your mindset
Yeah.
when
That's what I was coming to.
once you
Yeah.
look back,
Mm-hmm.
that where
Mm-hmm.
you came from and what you were,
Mm.
you decided to come,
Mm.
why you came here.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
not hard to make your mind.
Mm.
Yes, you will get those problems in your life. Yes, you will get low days and
Mm.
even low weeks, even months. You
Mm.
know, maybe it's like back-to-back problems. Sometimes your car breaks down. Next day, your money gets stolen.
Yes.
The
Yes.
next day, you lose your
Mm.
job. So
Yeah.
these things will keep happening.
Mm.
Broke so many cars, to be honest.
I
Um,
guess that is the most important part of this conversation that we are having today is like everybody goes through, everybody has ups and downs in their life, everybody has events happening in their life. And some events take them to backwards, some events take them to forward, some events take them into a totally different direction, which they never thought. But then it is you and you only that you have the control to change the direction of the life journey that you want to, or you have to. Because most of the people then they think that, okay, now I have lost this, now I can't do and I can't gain back anything. I've lost it. But some say, okay, I've lost it, but I have gained something else, and let me gain more of something else. That's an open mind. That's an open, kind of thought that you come and you accept. And that's the mindset I was talking about. Like, how do you manage and how do you change the mindsets from one event to another event, irrespective of whether they affect you badly, sadly, rightly, wrongly, it doesn't matter. What matters is you have to manage those moments. And this is where I am looking at. So, for all the listeners who are listening, I mean, here is a person who has got few challenges, and not few, but challenges that were life changing, challenges that could have gone in totally different directions, challenges that can make you and break you. But you chose to live through those challenges and make your own decisions to seek help or to seek guidance, I would say. Because people sometimes don't even seek guidance in that frame of mind, and they just go into a totally different direction. So I'm glad that we are talking this today, Gagan. So let's go back to that journey when you overcome all these things, and now when you see and when you look back where you are at, but what decisions at a very young age, from 19 to multiple dreams to multiple challenges that you faced. How was your after settling point, or where did you think that this is okay for now, that I am settled after coming over all of that? What was that point in your journey? Tell me about that.
After getting work permit, I think until work permit, I was struggling every day. And then at that time, student visa wasn't like now that your student visa finishes, the next day you will get a
Yeah.
work visa automatically.
Mm, mm, mm.
Visa ended,
Correct.
student
Correct.
visa ended,
Mm,
so visa ended. That's it. Next day,
mm.
you have to go back to your country.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I knew someone from the travel industry. So he made an itinerary for me for a
Mm,
month. For that month, he's like, if you can find a job in this month, then you will be staying in this country. I can give you 1 month's itinerary. So
mhm.
you apply a visitor visa and then see what
Yeah,
happens. And I went door to door. That time I didn't have internet, didn't have smartphones.
true, true.
Went door to door to find a job in bakery.
Mm,
And I was walking from Pakuranga to Otahu and getting a bus and sometimes, but I was walking most of the time, so I don't miss any bakery.
true.
So I walked and finally I got a job in that month.
Mm, mm,
And then I got a work visa.
mm.
So yeah, that time I knew that, yeah, I'm going to settle here.
So I'm to ask you this question. I'm inclined to ask, like, does it matter in a human life or in a journey, in your experience, that you have changed positions or you have changed titles that people crave for?
Mm.
I want to be this, I want to be that. Okay, you came with a mindset, I want to become this, whether it is acting, whether it is creative, whether it is a chef, whatever. You had these titles, and that you want to move on with that. How does that matter in your life journey? How important it is, or is it important you also to think about these titles? I want to ask this particular question to you because I think you have overcome all those titles and you have overcome all those things, which will be good to understand from you for all the listeners, because they get bogged down. Or if I don't achieve this, if I don't complete this, if I don't get this title, if I don't recognize by this, then I have not achieved anything. And that's the biggest setback that a human can have to move forward. How would you rate this? How would you see this aspect of
I
the?
start this when I used to be like this, to be honest. I,
Uh-huh.
when I was working in a bakery, I got my residency. I wasn't satisfied. I was looking at
Hmm.
all those people having wearing a good dresses, going into
Mm.
commercial buildings and doing good jobs. And
Yeah.
I always looking at them and I just wanted to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be like her. I want to go to office. I want to wear a good uniform or, good clothes. And I just like, this was my craving as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to look good and I want people to know me. So I've been through this like for years and years. And then when I entered in a banking industry, and obviously I was looking at my colleagues and friends, okay, so she is right there. I want to be like her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never thought I want to be like me.
Mm.
This is what everybody does in these days.
So true. Very well.
They just don't want to be like themselves.
Mm.
We all are, I am included, we all are just want to be like someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And we forget in these days, and we do so much injustice to our,
Oh,
inner
yeah.
child
Mm.
following all this. We just like getting in a race. We are just always in a race, always in a race.
Absolutely.
I want to do this. I want to be like that person. I want this salary. I want this position.
Mm.
And after this awakening, I don't know. I
Mm.
just peace of mind. That's all.
So true. And I think we
Uh,
all humans want peace of mind.
yeah.
But you have very well said, you said these things. So, how, is it really now when you look back, how important is that aspect? Or is it really just people are just barking at the wrong direction by following that?
I think everybody has a light in them, right?
Yeah.
And when the creator of this world
Mm,
world,
mm,
created humans,
mm.
every human he created put a light in them,
Absolutely. Yeah.
some kind of light. So like
Absolutely.
you are running this podcast, you're bringing people and like
Absolutely.
bringing people to share their life stories, and maybe someone is getting inspired by someone's life story.
Mm, mm,
And someone has maybe someone is a good painter,
mm.
someone is doing a good drawing, and
Yeah.
someone is um arranging the good decoration. So these things, so everybody has a light in them.
Absolutely.
When we get in these races, we always forget our light. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying that people should stop running and
Mm,
should stop like doing what they're doing. Obviously, I'm also in a banking industry and I'm working over
yeah.
there. Right. The thing is like just to be like someone else, I
Mm,
would say maybe we should stop doing that to
mm.
be like someone else. Everybody has a light in them. If someone has a light to run a team of 20 people, yeah, should do that. They're leader, right?
I want to put this in a bit a different manner. You said very well, like, you should, people can chase, people can follow, it's up to them, whatever it is. But I want to put it in a different way, this for all the listeners who are listening, because most of the people I found that rather than they don't understand when they are following or chasing. Is it because they want that title? Is it because they want that recognition? And how important it is when you see yourself that you wanted to become an artist, doesn't matter. You want to become a banker, doesn't matter. You want to become something else, doesn't matter. But how important are these changing in your life unnecessarily that you get stuck with those titles or with those things rather than following? I put it this way, is titles important in human journey, what you see now? Or is it open that you can do anything and everything at any age? So why worry about I should be a banker or I should be an artist or I should be a model or I should be whatever, finance advisor and all that. How important are these titles that to listening for all the listeners that when you see this yourself, that yes, you have this talent, you have the skills, everybody has been given the talent, skills of many things, not just one thing, but they get bogged down with one thing that they want to achieve. And for me, I want to understand from you, since you have been through these different titles or different journeys of yours, and now you feel that, okay, at the end, what does it matter? whether I'm a banker or an accountant or a media, what does it matter to you? How would you put this? In the end, as a human awakened soul, as a journey, how would you see this, which people get stuck unnecessarily?
As I said, to be honest, the peace of my mind is more important now.
More important, yeah.
More important. Um, Designations and running in the race, it's something maybe I wouldn't do that anymore. You know, being like someone else, I wouldn't do that anymore. First of all, I want to be like me.
Right.
I want to be me.
Yes.
So it took me 40 years to find me.
Mm.
Now, I don't want to run after someone else, that I want to be someone else. So, you know, like when you said how important this in people's life, you know, when you live in this society and then you condition, it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault, because when you condition by the society, so your parents telling since your childhood, you need to become a doctor. You know, like in India, it's so famous.
Yeah,
Engineer.
yeah, absolutely.
Like these two things, doctor, engineer. So either you go in a medical line or you go in an engineering line.
Yeah.
And most of, like in my family, I've seen so many doctors and engineers.
Right.
But people need to think, are they happy? And they will be happy, Shailesh.
Yes.
They will realize and
Yes.
will find themselves. They will be happy. I was a people pleaser. Pleaser.
Right.
I was pleasing people because you living in that society, you just sometimes you just don't want to say things. You just like, you know, do things to please others. Yes, I'm still stubborn. Like, you know, I said I'm still very free person in my family. But yes, even I did things to please others. I became people pleaser
Right.
just to be in this race at one time.
True.
Right. So those people, yes, they will be happy until they will find themselves, until they will ask that question to themselves. Are they really?
So extending on that, you said very well that rather than titles, rather than following, your inner peace is most important. And this is what most of the people struggle to find their inner peace, because they don't understand what they want until they have this awakening, so-called. Or we think everybody has God, but they don't look it in detail with themselves, rather than they look outside and they want to find something outside rather than inside. So tell me something about when you find out that your inner peace is important and matters. How do you manage this inner peace, or how do you make your mind think that, yes, this is my inner peace. I don't care what others think. I don't care what others feel, but my feeling, my inside peace is this. And how do you make those mindset changes to accept that inner peace? Because inner peace can be anything for anyone and everyone, but they have to find their inner peace. And when you found your inner peace, now you can say that this is okay for me if I haven't got this title or that, but I am happy every day, or I am making my moments peaceful every day in whatever I am doing. I'm not labeled, I'm not tagged by titles, I'm not tagged by anything. How would you say about your inner peace? What inner peace is to you, actually? Let's talk about that, because I think you can now tell me, how do you feel your inner peace? So people who are listening can understand that inner peace is nothing but a simple thing. How do you make those mindset changes in your mind?
First of all, there's answer in your question. Like we
Uh-huh.
look outside, we don't look inside.
Right.
And we look outside and we start finding our happiness and peace outside,
Sure.
where we lose our happiness and our peace.
Mm-hmm.
Start looking inside. When you look inside, obviously you will find something. When
Sure.
you try to seek something,
Mm-hmm.
that Rumi's quote, Um, what you are seeking is seeking you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
So
start
true.
seeking that
Hmm.
inside you, you will find. My inner peace is like for years I overworked and I sacrificed my family time, I sacrificed my health, everything. My
Mm.
inner peace is looking after my health now.
Mm. Absolutely.
So this is my first priority.
Mm. Yeah.
Then my kids.
Mm.
If
Mm.
my health is good, then I can look after my kids.
So true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So since I was going through awakening, so you go through. I think we will make a different separate episode on awakening,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I can go through the stages and all that. But when we go through those stages, you
Yeah.
get really miserable because you going through intense awakening, you going
Mm.
through intense healing.
Mm.
And in that time, like, you get irritated easily. Even you know that you're going in the cycle again and again and again. Maybe normal people they want. I mean, not normal like everybody is normal, but
Yeah. Yeah.
whoever not been through awakening, they won't understand what I'm talking about. Going through the cycles again and again.
Yeah.
Everybody is going through those cycles again and again because they are not ready.
Absolutely.
But
Mm.
now, because we do get messages and we, you know,
Mm.
get told
Mm.
why this is happening to you.
Yeah.
Even then you still stuck in those cycles, in that loop, right? So with people, I don't have answer for that how they can find their inner peace,
I
you know.
can put my 2 cents here, Gagan, for you to help you a little bit. For my 2 cents is to find, yes, is what you're saying is like listen to yourself more than listening to others or listening to yourself.
Inside you. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
Mm.
outside, when you're looking for happiness outside, then you
Mm.
lose everything.
Mm.
When you start looking inside, when I started looking inside, then
Mm.
I found myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah, I can't tell about my inner peace, but everybody has to do their own work,
Work,
like
work.
they have
Yeah.
to look inside themselves. They have to find.
Mm.
And as I said, it's no one's fault because
No, absolutely.
everybody is
100%.
conditioned by the society for so long
Mm. Mm. Mm.
that they think this is the normal world, this is the reality, but that's not the reality actually.
That's not the reality.
That's
True.
not the reality.
Mm.
They are looking in a movie, sorry, they are working in a movie
Mm.
as a character. They're playing someone else's character.
Mm.
You're not playing your own character until you look inside and you find yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's beautifully, very well said there. I think to sum it up, this is a beautiful conversation and it can go and extend up to a lot of layers that we can uncover in our future episodes. But I think what I take away from here today's episode is like, inner peace is everyone's kind of human goal that we look for every single moment. And to achieve that, we have to listen to ourselves more than what is there outside. And this is a beautiful message, Gagan, that you mentioned about. And because you have gone through, but you have also got that kind of in-depth awakening, so-called, where everybody has their own in-depth awakening and they are allowed to do. And as you rightly said, there is nothing wrong, good, bad about experiencing all of this. But realization for yourself, for your own inner peace, is more important than anything else. And so I want to make this as one of the finest end to this episode is I want, in your view now, what would be your message to all the listeners who are listening and finding this beautiful end that you said about inner peace, which is the most important aspect of our human life when we want to make those momentary changes or extraordinary changes, whatever changes that we are making for ourselves. How important and what's your message to all the listeners when we come to this end of this session? What would you say?
I would say never give up. You know,
Beautiful.
I don't say I wasn't giving up. I was
Mm,
giving up many times, but
mm,
and there was a one day when I realized that why all these things were happening. Since 2021, there was a lot of awakenings happening, a lot of
mhm.
awakenings happening. All I want to say, just hold on and
Absolutely.
do not take any, like uh, silly steps that
Mm,
can end your life or anything. As I said, if I can save, I mean, I was talking to you earlier, if I can save one life,
mm.
it will
Yeah.
be once sharing my experience, my awakening experience, which we will do it on a later stage. And the other message is follow your heart.
Yes.
Just do what your heart says, to be honest. Just do it. Look after your
Absolutely.
health and follow your heart.
Yes. Absolutely. Very well said, Gagan. Thank you so much for this. And to all the listeners, yes, if you can save one impact or if you can make one impact on one soul, that what we are here as our purpose as a human, that is what we have achieved in ourselves. We don't have to justify, we don't have to showcase anyone. We just have to do our best as a human and everything can follow. So, with that note, a beautiful message. Please write to us and let us know what do you think about this life journey of Gagan that must have impacted, affected, or even made some little awaken for you or not, or whatever you want to ask as a feedback. Please do write to us and let us know. But we will come back, as Gagan mentioned, and I think her life journey, her awakening, we haven't even uncovered here. And as she was mentioning about the phases of everything that you experience, every single moment, it just comes for everyone. It just we have to recognize and we will sometimes dive deep into that aspect of what is awakening, what is spirituality, and what is, religion and all of that. But how does it make an impact to a human life? That we will uncover later. But for now, today, all her experiences that she shared today was amazing, beautiful. Thank you once again for this beautiful wisdom, Gagan. I wish you a beautiful journey that we will keep tapping and keep a tap on you. And we can come back and share more experiences because life is all about learning and experiencing, and it never ends. It will never end until we are here, until we disappear. So, with that note, thanks once again, Gagan, and thank you, listeners, to all listening to us. And please write to us whatever you like or dislike or don't like or whatever you want, something from this episode. Thank you once again. Bye for now.
Thank you.